A lot of the people here, some before us, some after us, but we all from that elite, real hip hop, 90s, early 90s. The golden era. Everybody in here is classic tonight.
We came to take a bite out the Big Apple.
Welcome to Sidelines of History. I'm your host, Gabriel Tolliver. So today, I'm gonna take you back to 2018. It was the Yo MTV RAPS 30th anniversary experience, held in Brooklyn at the Barclays Center. Man, we had Big Daddy Kane, we had EPMD, we had Dougie Fresh, we had Fat Joe, we had Eric B. and Rakim. Man, I gotta jog my memory. Anyway, you had a good assortment of old school legends that had one time or another been on MTV. What can I tell you about that night? It was a wonderful night. It was a great crowd, but there was drama. We have to go back to 2018, the spring. A friend of mine reached out to me who was connected to MTV and said, hey, they're gonna do this Yo concert. And I was reunited with this particular colorful producer who will not be named, who was said, hey, I'm putting on this show at the Barclays Center. It's the Yo MTV RAPS 30th anniversary experience. And you know, you used to work on Yo. It's a bad imitation of his voice. But anyway, so I got on the team and I was very excited. At that time, I believe I was coming off of working on this Tupac documentary as a researcher assistant. So it was a nice segue. As I've emphasized, I'm a freelancer, okay? And the life can be, oftentimes feast or famine. And this particular gig, it was gonna pay me a nice sum. I was gonna get paid $15,000. $15,000. And, there's that saying that, you don't count your money before you get it, or your chickens before they hatch or whatever. And I realized I was kind of doing that because I was still in the process of moving. Like I had stuff in Oakland, and I was now in LA, and then now going to eventually be heading back to Cleveland. So, having $15,000 would have helped with a lot of that transition. And I had a contract. I was really going to get paid $20,000, but I got five of it up front. We start pre-production for this massive, ambitious concert, but the problem was, it was only a couple months because they initially thought that they could do this show within 2 months, and it was like, no effing way. So, the date got kind of pushed back, and when you're doing something of that big scope, like especially concerts, you got the artist's schedule, you got the venue's schedule, so many big pieces in that. So this was set for Barclays Center in downtown Brooklyn. I was coming home to Brooklyn, and I was going to be a part of a show at the Barclays Center. Now, I've been to the Barclays Center to watch games and stuff like that, but to be on the floor and be part of a music production, that was my thing. I love that. We started planning for the show, and then there started to be red flags, particularly with this producer and the big cheese over at MTV. I mean, they go way back, but they both had a different view on what the scope of this show was going to be. My guy thought thought of it as more of an experience, and had ideas for it to be, to possibly go on the road and be a concert film. And so that's where I came in. So I was there to document behind the scenes. And I was very psyched about that. I'd be like, yo, man, I could have my own version of, Woodstock, or I would say the contemporary Woodstock 94, which I worked on. But then there's the infamous Woodstock 99. But nevertheless, that whole idea of a concert movie, I mean, I was stoked about that. Like, okay, we could really create something here. And I reached out to my boy Vinay Chowdhry and ZacharyLudescher, who run Dakoit Pictures. And we all go way back as friends, colleagues. And again, it underscores the importance of your friends and networking and everything else. And I was like, yo, you guys want to record the MTV RAPS 30th anniversary? Work with me on this. We can record it. There would be talks about a documentary being produced, and why not? All of us help make this thing happen. So they came on board, and like you're supposed to do, there was paperwork. So it was very clear about who was going to get paid to do what. And that seemed to be all good. I was promised a particular fee. I got a little bit of it, and then I was expecting the rest at the completion of the show. Like any major production involving artists and music, there's always some chaos. It's either with scheduling, who's going to get paid what, who's going to come on first, who's going to come on last. And again, the specter of the politics between these two individuals in the sandbox about this show. It was the 30th anniversary, and MTV RAPS, I can't say this enough, was beloved around the world. Globally, its brand still shown. It was just unfortunate that these two people had their egos involved, and but it's also how people talk to one another, and one side talked a certain way that the other side didn't appreciate, and it just started to fray. This was going to be a concert, just strictly a concert initially, and then it became this other thing when MTV got involved with streaming the concert, which wasn't a bad thing, but again, there was a lot of, just every day there was some drama with these two guys fighting about the show and getting advertising dollars, getting more things to make it truly an experience. So MTV brought in one of their outside producers to stream the show. All right, so let's talk about the show. So this was like the who's who of like old school hip hop and artists that had been on MTV RAPS. So I mean, we had Eric B. and Rakim, we had KRS-One, we had Fat Joe, we had Special Ed, we had MC Lyte, EPMD, Flavor Flav, DJ Chuck Chillout, and DJ Scribble, who was one of the organizers. And of course we had Ed, Dre, T-Money, and Fab Five Freddy out there to represent. The concert, it went off, quote unquote, without a hitch. I mean, there really wasn't much of a sound check, and they had an incredible lighting crew there and graphics crew. It was a really nice stage, but it was, again, a lot of that bickering behind the scenes just got escalated with like this producer and MTV and stuff. And so the concert went off without a hitch, incredible concert kind of show. But then I remember there was still an issue about people getting paid. And that is always the issue, oftentimes, with performers, is about getting paid from the promoters. I mean, I'm sure, there's so many hip hop songs or allusions to Janky Promoters, you know? I mean, there was even a movie called Janky Promoters, I think with Ice Cube and Mike Epps. But it's always about the money.
I don't remember folks' names, but there was the lady and like she had like the stack of cash and she was just paying the artist. Like she was just like counting out like hundreds and then putting an envelope in front of the artist and just like handing the artist like stacks of cash. And I was just like, wow, this is I don't know, this is just really old school.
Yeah,
like,
I've
totally. Never seen that like before. Like I was like, this is just like not even to the manager, like to the artist, like just like envelopes of cash. And it just, to me, it was just like, it was wild.
I remember, and I wonder if he was setting me up, because I remember, you know, he pulled me aside and said, I just had to go meet with the drug dealer to get a bunch of cash to pay.
Oh, yeah. No, I remember that.
Yeah. So
the mob. It was the mob. I thought he went to the mob to get the money.
Yeah, you know.
You think it was bullshit?
Yeah, with that guy, you know.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, only he knows, you know. This particular moment that I witnessed, it was like in the media room, and it was a promoter and the producer. And they were, they were just in an intense conversation with each other and like looking at I don't know if it was a ledger, but I kind of thought it was like, oh, you're trying to figure out who to pay and, you know, maybe not pay. The news came. Hey, but we're gonna have some problems paying everybody, you know, and I need you to work with me and, you know, I promise you, I'll get you your money and all that. What can you do? You know, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You know, say no. We delivered. You know, we shot behind the scenes and we got a lot of good footage. And I certainly wanted to get paid, and certainly, you know, Vinay and Zachary and his crew, and just didn't happen. The earnestness of trying to make it right just faded over time until I never heard anything. So it is what it is. You know, there's people in this industry who have worse horror stories about not getting paid. And, you know, you chalk it up, you just work with better people. And, you know, you had agreements. I still don't know to this day if all the crew, you know, the lighting crew, the sound technicians, I still don't know if they got paid. They may have gotten paid, but I don't know anything about it. But, you know, me, Vinay, and the others that worked on that show, yeah, we were expendable. We were like, yeah, we were expendable. But the good thing is, we got the footage. And I'm gonna leave it at that. Thank you for watching Sidelines of History. You know, please continue to watch, subscribe, here, there, and you know, we'll continue to bring you randomness and stories and everything else. I'm your host, Gabriel Tolliver. Thank you for watching Sidelines of History.
MTV, thanks for the love and the support. Flying 5 in the building, ready to learn. Chuck, chill. Peace and love, y'all.
Peace. Y'all gotta clear the stage, man.
Gotta clear the stage.
Gotta clear the stage. Gotta clear the stage, y'all. Please clear the stage. Please.